Welcome to Cyberpump.com's How to Transform Your Physique number 241. Before I get started in talking about more curl crap, I would like to address just something in general that I've noted with respect to people that train, and I'd like to I'm going to mention some of these. This is actually the listing of ingredients of a food item, and you can see it's just a little bit larger type, but I think I counted 40 different things or ingredients in this food item, and some of them, for example, artificial chocolate donut flavor, defatted soy flour, soy lecithin, xanthan gum, guar gum, whatever that is, vanillin, an artificial flavor, potassium sorbate, preservative, all sorts of things are listed in here, palm oil, of course sugar, soybean oil mentioned, soybeans mentioned like 3 or 4 times. So the reason I want to mention this, the calorie count is 340 calories. So if people want to eat, this is a donut, I believe I actually pulled it from Dunkin' Donuts. If people want to eat donuts as part of their diet, just come out and state that it's unhealthy and it's junk food. Back 30 years ago, there was no such thing as tracking macros with an acronym. It was basically calorie count and actually looking at what you're eating. And I can guarantee you I spent a weekend with Rich Gaspari back in 1985, and the last thing that he was eating was donuts. And if I was to mention to him eating donuts at that point in his career, he probably would have looked at me and laughed. So if you want to eat donuts as part of your diet, just come right out and say it's junk food. For me personally, I choose, and I shouldn't be made fun of because I choose not to eat things like this. I've actually seen quite the opposite of people getting bashed because they choose not to eat donuts and junk food. So if I prefer to eat broccoli, which is where I can actually, 10 servings of a cup of broccoli is just 300 calories, this donut is 340 calories. And of course the donut basically doesn't have any really good nutrients. Broccoli obviously does. So if I choose to eat broccoli, that's my choice, and same thing with someone who wants to eat donuts. But let's not attach some acronym name to tracking macros, because in the end, it's up to the individual, and you shouldn't be making excuses as well. Come on and say, I want to eat donuts every so often. Okay? Don't try to make it like it's some grand plan, because like I said, 30 years ago, there's no grand plan to incorporate junk food. And by the way, I'll just leave you on that topic, leave you with this. If a carbohydrate was a carbohydrate, and because donuts, yeah, they do taste good. Since they're so good, they taste so good, why wouldn't a marathon runner be carving up on boxes and boxes of donuts? Why wouldn't an Olympic athlete? How about a contest bodybuilder that, you know, during the time, especially the last 2 weeks, heck, if he's carving up, if he's going 500 grams of carbs and can handle that, his body can handle it, how come he's not eating, you know, 10 donuts? So anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So as far as what we're talking about, curl crap, one of the problems with preacher curls is the preacher bench actually makes it even worse from my perspective, because people end up in the preacher bench, they end up putting their body up against the preacher, again their arms that are at an angle. And what they end up doing is using their body weight as leverage, basically, to pull back on the weight as they're curling the weight. They don't truly get their body weight, their body over the curl bench and completely relax the upper body. There's always some pulling going on. I've never seen anybody perform a preacher curl that I can remember performing it correctly. The other thing is, as far as a preacher curl is then it becomes a range of motion thing. Pretty soon they're barely letting it down and they're coming up to here. There's no tension. Again, they're at an angle like this over the preacher bench. And by the time they get up, there ends up being no tension here. And they only go about down to here, so that they're going about a range of motion like this. And then their speed of movement is much too fast as well. And I'm going to talk about speed of movement and also repetition efficiency, the RE ratio in percent. I'm not sure if anyone else has used that term before, but I've actually called it repetition efficiency. How efficient you are performing your repetitions in an exercise. So as far as preacher curls, it can be an effective exercise. Again, most people use too much weight. Okay. So as far as pronation versus supination, one of the things with the dumbbell, it kind of got overblown in my opinion over the course of time, as far as the whole supinate, as far as when you're doing performing curls. Really what it comes down to is someone with a dumbbell, you have to, so this is neutral, okay, this is pronate, okay, this is supination, completely so I can't pull. Once I get to a certain point, there's no twisting. All I'm doing is I'm not getting any more out of my bicep right here once you basically get to a certain point, especially if you're actually contracting it. Okay, so the whole point was using dumbbells. You have to, in order to supinate properly, because it's hard to hold the dumbbells out like this. I mean, this is just uncomfortable. Holding even this long pipe obviously is more uncomfortable, but if you're holding the dumbbells out like this, that doesn't, so as you come up, you have to clear your body, then you have to rotate and supinate, okay? So by definition, if you're using dumbbells, you have to do that. Somehow exaggerating the pinky, you're just wasting your time. So that's it for this week. Next week I'm going to start talking about repetition efficiency. And one of the other things you're not going to see in these videos is anyone doing exercises, because there's so many exercise videos out there of people grunting. No one ever tells anybody what they're truly doing when they're performing an exercise. So once you see the exercise, if you wanted to see, for example, incline flies, you'd see about 10 million videos of incline flies. I think pretty much you get the hint, except, okay, if you want to see your favorite hero bodybuilder, I guess you can see them grunting instead, doing incline flies. So I'm actually going to try and share with you some of the things I've learned with respect to repetition efficiency, and that's going to translate directly into helping you make better gains in the gym. Until next time, have a great week.